today we've got Brooks Rehab Adaptive Sports, and certainly they're not new to our area. I'm going to guess somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 12 years. Brooks has been affiliated with Halifax, primarily from a rehabilitation perspective, and the offshoots of that too. Brooks reaching out to the community to provide different things, and in this case, the different things being adaptive sports. People with different types of challenges, mostly physical challenges, that enables them to participate in things they might not otherwise be able to. So, like I said, Brooks has been around for quite some time. And today we're going to talk about, although they have many programs, today we're going to be focusing on the adaptive sports component of that. And there's a couple of new programs that they've recently added that really are going to be a huge benefit to people with Parkinson's. So instead of me telling you all about it, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to one of our two guests. We have Krissy Seiple and Ed Eisler with Brooks Adaptive Sports. And I'll turn it over to this little unassuming lady. Come on. This is Krissy.
Thank you.
Join me in welcoming.
Thank you. My name is Krissy. So I've been with Brooks for 5 years. I'm a therapist by trade. So let me get us started. So first I'm going to go over Brooks' vision. So our vision is to be recognized as the leader in providing a system of world-class rehabilitation solutions, advancing the health and well-being of our communities. Our mission is to empower people to achieve the highest level of recovery and participation in life through excellence in rehabilitation. So what we noticed was once people went through our rehabilitation, whether it was inpatient or outpatient, there was a downward spiral. So we noticed that people were going home and they were self-isolating. They were being physically inactive, and then there were secondary complications, and those complications included obesity, depression, addiction, whether that was to substances, pain medication, alcohol, tobacco. They were also unemployed because their medical condition, whether that was medical, like stroke, Parkinson's, whatever had led them to us in the first place, led them to not be able to work. They had relationship issues. They were having emotional breakdowns. They had cardiovascular issues. Their disease that led them to us was a condition. And then also diabetes, which led to a poor quality of life. So we wanted to address that. Some other health disparities included some of those we just listed, but obesity, depression, addiction, diabetes. We noticed that there was an increase in suicide, hypertension, anxiety. We just listed relationship breakdowns and unemployment. We just listed the root cause was self-isolation and physical inactivity. So here's our problem statement that led us to why we started adaptive sports and recreation in the first place. So individuals living with disability did not have access or adequate support to participate in meaningful occupations that promoted and sustained lifelong health, well-being, and a quality of life. So this is our adaptive sports and recreation's vision, that individuals with physical, cognitive, and or visual disabilities will enjoy a higher quality of life as a result of Brooks-sponsored adaptive sports and recreation activities. And our mission is to provide individuals with physical, cognitive, and or visual disabilities that inspire, educate, and promote to participate in world-class adaptive sports and recreation activities. So how do you qualify to participate in our programs? So anybody with any sort of physical, cognitive, or visual impairment qualifies to participate in our program of all ages. My program is open literally to anybody of any age. All of these programs are absolutely free of charge. You do not have to pay us anything. You just have to show up. All abilities. So it does not matter what you are capable of doing. We are here to adapt every activity that I'm going to go over to what you are able to do. That's the beauty of myself being a therapist. I can adapt everything to you. I meet you where you're at. And people always ask me, well, do I need a doctor referral? You do not need a doctor referral to participate in my programs. So currently, right now, my programs that I have obviously Tai Chi. I have on-water rowing. I have a little picture of that. I have erg rowing, so like on the row machine. Yoga. We bowl every other Friday night. We do a game night, not like a board game, but we do bocce ball. So it's at Pickleball, so right up the road. We have the option. There's 5 different games we can choose from. Bocce is hands down fan favorite, but we have the option to choose between bocce, croquet, shuffleboard. I always have to do the motion. Horseshoes or cornhole, but everybody loves bocce ball. So we have that. We have cycling, and the cycles again are adapted. They're the recumbent cycles. We also have tandems. So if you are not comfortable cycling, you would cycle with me or one of my other staff members. We also fish once a month. So those are like my weekly programs. And then I have my special events. So over the summer, we surf. We partner with another nonprofit. It sounds scary, but it is not scary at all. The way that surfing works is you're on like a paddle board, giant board. And on each side of the board, there's 5 volunteers. So there's 10 people next to you, and somebody rides on the tail of the board, and you're in a life jacket. And then there's a chest support in front of you. So you're completely safe at all times. And it is absolutely amazing. That is probably my most favorite event. Because it's amazing. In the spring and in the summer, we kayak. And again, you are completely safe. We have adaptions for that. So if you have weakness on one side or the other, we have an angled oar system that will help support the oar for you. The kayaks have pontoons, so you're stabilized at all times. We do pickleball clinics. Again, right up the road at Daytona. And then twice a year, we go to Jackie Robinson Stadium and we do baseball night out. We do also go to billiards at Uncle Waldo's, but right now that's on a little bit of a hold. They can't accommodate us right now, so that's on a pause. But that is currently what I have going on. The only program that has a prereq, if you will, is my on-water rowing. That one, you have to be swim tested. You don't have to pass a swim test. You just have to be swim tested. And I have to know, if you don't pass it, what type of personal flotation device you need. That way, when you're in the rowing show, you either wear it or you don't wear it. And again, Yeah, that picture you cannot really see, but they're in a double and they have the pontoons. So they're stabilized, they're safe. Myself and the rowing coach are in the coach's boat instructing them. We're there, you're safe. In case you're wondering, I'm not the instructor, I'm just the therapist giving you the adaptions. You don't want me instructing you in yoga, Tai Chi, any of that stuff. You just want me making the therapy eyes on you. That's why I have the experts instructing you in specialties. So those right now are my programs that I have. I'm always looking to add new programs. I didn't add it on here, but I do have virtual programs. So if you're not into coming to something live, I have virtual programs. So virtually, I have yoga, Tai Chi, meditation. Twice a week, we do a social. Friday, we do game day, where we do play like games, like trivia. We do music with a music therapist on Wednesdays. And those are our virtual programs. So we also have virtual options if that's something that you wanted to do as well. So if you're not quite ready to.
Krissy,
Yeah.
regarding the virtual programs, are they taped or are they live?
They're live.
So, because I do have a copy of your schedule, if you will, but I see nothing virtual on there.
Those are, you will get an email. If that's something you wanted to do, you would give me your email address. I have a sign up sheet if you wanted to leave me your email address, so you could be added to my email list and you would get a weekly update on both my live and my virtual events, because occasionally we do have a change in weekly activities, or like I said, a special event coming up, because that schedule that I have by the refreshments is my weekly, but that doesn't include my monthly events or my special events or my virtual events. So the best way to stay up to date is through email, and you'll get everything that's going on with us. So like the next surfing event, when kayaking comes back, that's the best way to stay up to date on the latest and greatest of adaptive sports.
Got another question.
Sure.
If you fail the swim test, are you still alive?
Yeah, we swim test you with the lifeguard. It's not me swim testing you.
What if you fail it?
No. If you fail it, then the lifeguard jumps in and saves you.
Oh.
No. Nobody is
no concern about it.
Nobody is dying on my watch. Ever. Knock on wood. Never. No.
So, all the things that you listed, as far as what has prompted people, or in this case, Brooks, to really reach out to the community, provide these interactive events, sports, games, fun. That almost sounded like the recent pandemic. Everybody's closed in, everybody's drinking alcohol, everybody's watching Netflix. Now I'm just speaking for myself now, but what I've read about people experiencing chronic issues, with regard to the pandemic. Right there on the screen. Yes. So this program was originally founded up in Jacksonville 15 years ago. So we brought it down to Daytona. Adaptive Sports came to Daytona about 8 years ago. I took the program over a year ago. That's when I added Ed, when I added Tai Chi, and I also added game night. I added pickleball, and I added baseball night out. And again, I'm always looking to add new programs. So if there's anything you're thinking, ooh, this would be fun, or this would be a great asset, let me know, because that's what we're here to do, is grow and
And we want programs that would be beneficial and also help you. It's not just what I think would be good, it's what people want to participate in. Another program that we have that's a little bit different than mine is Adaptive Wellness. And that is held at our local Y. So that is at the DeLand Y, the Ormond Y, and the Port Orange Y. That program serves diagnoses that are currently we serve stroke, brain injury, Parkinson's, and MS. That program has a cost to it, different than mine. That program, if you're a Y member, is $15 a month. If you're not a Y member, it's $30 a month. You do have to have a physical therapy evaluation prior to starting that program, or you just have to be discharged from physical therapy within the last 90 days. In that program, you will work with an exercise physiologist, someone who has their master's, and you will continue your physical therapy program. So your physical therapist will write goals for my program specialist to work on. And so it's a bridge between PT and then nothing. And you will work with that program specialist at the Ormond in DeLand Y. It's 3 days a week. At the Port Orange Y, it's twice a week. So you can work with that program specialist for anywhere from 30 minutes up to an hour and a half on your goals. And again, so you're not going from, oh my gosh, I just had 3 days a week of PT and now I'm done with PT. What do I do now? We have found that when people are discharged from PT, they go home. I'm going to be honest. I've been a therapist 15 years. You're not going to go home typically and do your home exercise program. You're going to go home and
watch Netflix.
You're going to go home and not do your home exercise program. I've been to therapy several times myself. I didn't do my home exercise program.
Oh my God.
I know, bad patient.
Yeah.
Terrible patient. But honest, I didn't. That's why I had a second surgery. Didn't do it. But so we have found that if you have another program to go into, it's almost like a personal trainer. You're going to do better. You're going to have better outcomes. You're going to have better balance. You're going to have better strength. You're going to do better at home. You're going to continue working with your self-care. You're going to continue getting back into the community, all the goals that you want to achieve. So that is a program we also have. Like I said, there is a charge to that one. So it's slightly different than mine, but it's a great program that I want you to know that we have.
That's the wellness program?
That's the Adaptive Wellness program.
Adaptive Wellness. I'd like to add something that, which I believe to be true, that even though it's $30 for a non-YMCA member and $15 if you are a member, I believe if you are in silver sneakers at the YMCA and you're not a member, you get a membership reduction as far as the cost of that program.
Correct. So you check with your insurance because I want to say that is also correct. That fee does not come to Brooks. That fee goes straight to the Y. So you will pay that fee right to the front desk at the YMCA. That is not something we do not handle that. That goes right to the Y. So
I have a question for
sure.
you. Looking at this list of all the different activities, number one, it looks so exciting, but it also looks very intimidating, even for me.
It does.
And so I wonder kind of with people who might be a little bit hesitant to, kind of try something new like this, what do you normally tell them and how do you kind of incorporate that into your learning curve?
So what I always tell somebody for the first time, they're like, oh, the name always, I'm like, oh, I wish we would have named it something different. Adaptive sports. That to me, I'm like, oh, I'm not athletic because I was a cheerleader. I'm the cheerer of the group. Like that's my role. I'm like, yeah, go, you're doing so great. I have all brothers. That was my role. Even growing up, like, oh, sports, no way. That was not me. Come and just even if you just come and watch for the first time, see what it is. We are one big giant family. We are here to have fun. We're here to support each other. We're here to vent to each other. We cry together. We laugh together. We're just here to have fun. And if we get a little bit of, we're going to get exercise. We're going to. And you're gonna have fun while you're doing it. And you're like, oh my gosh, I just worked out and didn't even realize it because I was having fun while I was doing it. So come watch something, and you're gonna be like, oh, I can do this. I can do this. This is something totally I can do. Don't let the name or the activity steer you away. Just come out and watch it for the first time, and you're going to fall in love.
Is the majority of these programs now being held at Daytona? Is that where it's at? 2
of the programs are being held at Daytona. So Tai Chi and Game Night is held at Daytona.
What about pickleball?
Oh, obviously pickleball.
Okay. Well,
yes, that's a special event.
Okay.
Hopefully next year.
It's not adaptive.
It is adaptive.
Okay, right now it is.
Yes.
Okay. Because I know how popular
it is. I know. That's why I was like, I've got to get in there. Yeah, it is adaptive pickleball. I did a one-time clinic to see if they could adapt it for me there, and they could.
Wow.
They were wonderful there. So yes, and they're very interested in continuing.
I've only seen it from the road. I've never been in there.
You should go in there.
From the road. I don't know what's back there.
It's amazing. They have a whole rec center that anybody can use at any time.
Free. Good to know.
Free. So you can use the shuffle ball,
Right.
you can use the croquet, you can use the bocce and the horseshoes at any time, anybody for free.
I'd like to say something now that you kind of rung a bell here.
Sure.
Maybe 8 or 10 years ago, we ran a program. It was an adaptive program, exercise program. I know some of you were here. I know Mark was, I believe Teresa was, but it was at the Port Orange YMCA. And it was a 2-day event. We brought some people in from the Cleveland Clinic up in Ohio, but Brooks was also there. And we had one of our events was the bocce, and we had a little competition going. All I can tell you is that bocce and yoga were the 2 favorite. I mean, we had dance, we had cycling, we had a whole bunch of other things. But so what Krissy's saying is having fun. You know, let's get out and go. And that's what we need to do. And, you know, just talking to my buddy Mo here, you know, it's like he's saying, yeah, you know, I'm getting worse and I got news for you. Well, I'm getting worse too. I don't have Parkinson's, but it doesn't matter who you are. If you're aging, you're probably not improving in large part, right? I mean, you can always improve where we're at and how we are. But the point that I'm making was something else Krissy said. Well, people are coming home from therapy. They don't have another place to go. Guess what they're not doing? Right? They're not doing the homework that they should be doing to make themselves better. I can attest to that myself. I've been doing yoga for over 30 years. My wife too, well, she's better at it than me because I think typically women are, you know, a little bit better at most things than men. But she even finds that I've been doing yoga for so long, I know how to do yoga. I don't need to go to a class, but do I? Do I do it at home? Very rarely. But, you know, if you got a class that you're signed up for, guess what you do? You go and you do. And so this is what we're talking about, having a flow of events, a flow of things that are that you like to do, and then get up, go and do it. Otherwise, you just have a drink and watch Netflix.
We're social beings. That is something we're supposed to do as human beings. So that's another aspect of our program. So I have some participants who come to bowling. They don't bowl. They just come for the social interaction. And that's something that I especially feel like during the COVID times that took away from us. And now that all of my live programmings are back, that has brought a lot of people. I mean, I've already hit the goal for the year. I've exceeded it because people miss that social interaction. So even if you feel like I have no interest in bowling, I have zero interest, I don't want to bowl, I just want to be around people. That's part of my program. It's just that social interaction. That is what we crave. That is what we need. It's good for your health as well. we don't only focus on your physical health. We worry about our mental and emotional health as well. That's one of our pillars that we focus on. So that's something too. So don't let that be something that stops you from coming and trying one of our programs.
Yeah, it's not the price, is it?
It's not the
price is not
I don't bite. I promise. There's something else I was going to say and I lost it. It's gone with the wind.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Got you off the rails, didn't I?
It's okay.
Blame it on me.
I will. All right. I don't want to take up too much time because I want Ed to focus and do his amazing Tai Chi and yoga demonstration. So does anybody else have any questions before I give it on over to Ed?
Hello, everyone. My name is Ed Eisler. Been a certified Tai Chi and Qigong instructor for approximately 15 years. And I'm also a 200-hour certified yoga instructor for about 16 years. And yeah, all those things are great. And yoga seems to be a little more popular, I think, only because it's been more in America, more pushed into the limelight. But I would say that Tai Chi is catching up to it. So anyways, so also I'm also a massage therapist, fitness instructor, and an occupational therapist. So I've been doing this for a while, and I very much enjoy working with everybody. And Krissy and I both have a class, Tai Chi class at Daytona. So in case you don't know, like right down LPGA here, it's not even, I don't even think it's a mile. Yeah, it's about a mile. You go up on US 1 right across from the Holly Hill Chamber of Commerce there. It's right there. And you were mentioning not even going into it. You have to go into it. It's a $9 million facility, $9 million facility. And it's got a senior center in it that we're doing the classes at. And so, yeah, there's a big part of it's Daytona. Now they're doing part 2. It's another $9 million probably facility too. It's huge, massive, brand new, beautiful. The way that it's like inside, it's got all these windows. It's just really nice. You just love it, like here. So anyways, the class is sponsored by Brooks. And so we've been doing it now about 8 months or so, something like that. And we've got all kinds of populations. So we've got Frederick is a Parkinson's person that's coming to our class. He's been coming now for 4 or 5 times. And if I could quote him, he just started 4 classes ago. He says, I see what you're doing here. You're kind of building up and you're building on your skills. And like, I can feel like I'm improving. And he says he likes the way that it's headed. So he hasn't come to very many classes, but, and also we have stroke patients. We have lower back pain, arthritis, everybody, and everybody gets equal attention. So that's the nice thing. You know, we learn a little bit about you before you come in, or learn about you as you're trying to do things, and we adapt it to you. So really nice and easy. Little bit about Tai Chi, and is anybody ever done Tai Chi? Wow, okay, a couple. Nice. I expected more. Yeah. So Tai Chi is about 700 years old from China. Okay. And so the way it originated is Kung Fu. You've seen Bruce Lee. Yeah, that was outlawed a lot of times in China. The warlords and generals, they said, no, we don't want people uprising. So they hid Kung Fu, fast, explosive types of stuff, in this thing called Tai Chi. Slow motion dance. It looks like a punch, looks like a kick. And it was, you know, the generals, magistrates looked at it. That kind of looks like Kung Fu. It says, no, slow motion dance. Slow motion dance. So if it wasn't for Tai Chi, it probably would be Kung Fu or Bruce Lee or that. So if you speed things up, and I like to teach the essence of what Tai Chi is. So it looks always slow, but it can be done fast. And so probably wouldn't be where we started, you know. So if you have arthritis, that might irritate your joints a little bit. But as things loosen up and we get a little bit better, skills get a little bit better, we work on things like this. So there's a lot of things, you know, it looks just slow, but it can be sped up and you can use it for strengthening and many other things like stamina. So also a lot of adaptation we talked about, right? So you could use your chair, you could sit for the whole thing. You could stand. I prefer standing myself, but you can do the whole thing sitting. And if you stand, you can use the chair. You can call that chair yoga, chair Tai Chi, you know, so all of that still applies. So we could have the wall, we could, you know, make it easier, we can make it more challenging. So if you're not getting enough challenge, there's no real therapeutic value. So we want to challenge the body to the point where you're right at the edge of, you know, feeling like this is a little bit of a workout. And so we've got ways to do that in our class. And you have to come to see that. My eyes, this is join the club, right? Yeah, so I have to go back and forth. I guess I have to do this once in a while. Yeah, okay. So anybody want to try this Tai Chi? Let's try it. So this is interactive. Let's try it. Anybody?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's fun. This is the best way you're going to be able to learn about Tai Chi, is actually doing it. So you can remain sitting. So first, most important thing that we have problems with is this thing called posture, right? Posture, yeah. So this is really big. And so in Tai Chi, if we're slouching like this, we have a head forward of our body and our center of gravity is falling forward. Huge trip hazard. Over the age of 60, that's the number one fatality risk, is falling. Okay, so posture in yoga and Tai Chi and functional types of things are just the most important things, is your posture. I remember back when I started being an occupational therapist, this is the very first thing we look at is your posture, and we'd work on it. Now we hardly ever talk about it, but it's very important. So with your posture, think about an imaginary wall that you're going to back up against. You don't have to back up, but just bring your heels up against this wall. And then think about the wall. Bring your hips back a little bit till they touch the wall. Now, if you feel like you're going to fall backwards, that's too far. Okay. And then this is the problem that most people have, is we get forward with our head and shoulders. So think of that wall, and you're just going to bring your shoulders and head back just a little bit. And this will stack the bones more over each other. And when that happens, your balance is much better. Less forward center of gravity, falling forward. So now the bones are stacked and your gravity is going over the center of the foot. Now, we call this Wuji posture in Tai Chi. You don't have to remember any of this. In yoga, we have a yoga program. So in yoga, we call this, anybody that's done yoga?
So mountain pose.
All right, yes, mountain pose, yes. So good posture, yeah. So we want to relax the shoulders down, a little bit of knee bend. This will all help. So this is the best place to start from. And in yoga and Tai Chi, we start from this position. Okay, so you want to come a little bit forward, maintain that upright posture to the chair that's in front of you, in case you should need balance, okay, balance assistance. Or you might want to come to the side of the chair. I like the side of the chair even better. So that way the chair is here if I need it, because we're going to be moving our leg a little bit and our arms potentially, but at least you can have one hand on the chair if you need. And anytime you need to sit, please sit, okay? All right, so here's the exercise. Are you still standing up in mountain pose or Wuji posture? It's habitual, you know, we just kind of, this gravity thing's pushing down and we go back into our habitual pattern. And this is what's great. You're going to practice this so that it will improve your posture. Usually we do some warm-up exercise to help to loosen up the muscles that are generally associated with poor posture. So we start to loosen those muscles up and it gets a little easier to stand in better posture. Okay, so first, usually we do that. It's usually a warm-up, but we don't have a lot of time. So let's get to it. So I do a lot of talking. Notice this? Some people say, man, he talks a lot.
I did notice that.
I'm up to something. I'm usually up to something, okay? So this is weight bearing. This is strengthening. You just standing here in good posture is very therapeutic. So it's good. We're going somewhere. All right. So like I said, have some balance support next to you, maybe a chair, maybe it's in front of you, whatever. So we're standing up nice and tall. Tall and important. And right here, we're just going to start with lifting our right heel, okay? And if you feel like just in 2 seconds, you're a little wobbly, that's almost a little too much for you. Maybe you bring down the heel and you're just bringing a little more body weight into your left foot. Try this. You're bringing up the right. Now, if you're wobbling, this is good. This is the brain learning. It's trying to figure out what muscles to recruit to hold you in this position. So good. Now bring your right heel down. And now there's even body weight into both feet. This works the longest nerve in the body, the sciatic nerve. So you're learning through that nerve. Good. Now the opposite heel comes up. We're weight shifting into the right leg. Good. How do you feel on that side? Sometimes there's one side has a muscle imbalance, weaker, stronger. Notice that. This is something called mindfulness. We talk a lot about this in Tai Chi, yoga, meditation. This is so important. True mindfulness is how our body learns. Good. So the heel comes back down. Maybe we'll go a little bit further. So if you're feeling like that's too much, you just maybe do a little less. But if you can go further, we'll peel up that right heel a little bit more until we're on the ball of the foot. Give a little chance to learn. So pause for a second, and then we come back down. We're going to keep adding to this a little bit more. So I know this might be a little easier for some of you. Heel up the opposite heel. Okay. All right. Now we maybe add the hands. So now you peel up this right heel. Maybe the whole foot comes up. Good. And maybe bring the hands back a little bit to counterbalance. Good, and then the foot comes back down flat, the right foot, and the hands come back to your sides. Weight shift over onto the right foot, peel up your left heel, bring maybe that left foot off the ground. It doesn't have to come off the ground, and then back along your sides. So pause for about 2 seconds. If you're having that struggle with 2 seconds, again, keep the foot down. This is the adaptive part, okay? So maybe we go further. So now maybe that whole right foot comes a little further off the ground, the arms go back a little bit more. Good. And maybe we step this right heel a little bit forward, maybe a couple inches forward and lightly touch down. This is something called muscle control. Okay. Good. And then back of the foot. And even body weight into both feet. Good. Weight shift. Bring the weight onto your right foot. This is called filling. So this is the right foot becomes fuller. We're emptying the weight out of this left foot. And then again, same thing, bring the arms back as that left heel comes a little bit forward, lightly touching down, almost like there's dust there. Muscle control, recruiting all kinds of muscles to try to control this action. Okay, so that was more forward. Okay, now we can go backwards. So this one, peel up the right heel, step the right ball back, and the hands come a little bit forward. Again, you can use the chair if you need to. So maybe not a death grip, maybe 1 finger, 2 fingers, try to loosen up, relax. I know sometimes you gotta be a little trusting. Good, and float back. Good, even body weight into both feet. Shift onto your right leg. Set that left ball back just a little bit. And if that doesn't feel good, you can just keep on the ball of the left foot. I see some yoga people have a little struggle.
Was I
So,
talking to you?
yeah. So I get a lot of people, they say, yeah, yoga is a lot more challenging. Well, this is more dynamic. Dynamic is how you move, how you walk. Your body's moving. You don't statically hold the position all the time when you walk. So when you hold the position, you know, that's what we do with yoga. But when we're doing something dynamic like this, there's a lot more muscle control going on. And then there's a transition from one position to the other.
Well, while you were talking, I was holding. Come on, man, move it along.
Well, I can talk, teach, and look at you at the same time. So multitasking, it gets better. It's a skill. It's like, you'll notice, it'll just get better. All right, let's try this a couple more times. We're stepping back with the left foot, hands go a little bit forward, lightly touch down. I was gonna play music, that's the drum beat there, but I forgot. Okay, now step back with the other foot, maybe a little further. So if you needed to go a little bit more to challenge yourself. I get a lot of elite athletes, working with them, I gotta push it a little bit more. Good, maybe even float the left foot. So this isn't per se Tai Chi, these are skills that build up to working and doing some Tai Chi poses. So this is the way I would start with people. This is more adaptive. Good, and float back, good. All right, walk in place. Always good to do that after a while. Now, do you feel a little warming going on in the body? Yeah, what is that? That's called strength training, So it's balance. We're working one leg is off the ground. We're moving dynamically at the same time. Your brain has to orchestrate all this. And this muscle control, learning, and there's just so much going on with this. Next exercise. So that was mostly using the front and back muscles. Move forward, use the front muscles called hip flexors. Psoas muscle. Move back, use the buttock muscle. Shoulder muscles are also working. Core muscles are also working. Okay, so we haven't really worked the side muscles though. Side muscles are when you go to the side like this. It works the outside of the hip. And when you bring your leg back in, it uses the inside of the thigh. And the arm muscles here to pull your arms back in. Different muscles, 600 muscles in the body. And so you could work on a treadmill, you could work on a bicycle, but you're only working a portion of them. So Tai Chi, yoga, all these exercises are really good for working the majority of your body. So, and these equipment pieces, I don't necessarily like those either because they isolate. And you don't isolate with these kinds of exercises. You have to stabilize your joints. So you're standing on one leg, you're moving everything, you're keeping everything in place. Okay, so here we go with a side-to-side motion. Won't take too long because I've got a couple extra other exercises I was hoping to squeeze in too. So we look straight ahead, good posture. Remember, always start tall and important, A little bit of knee bend, not locking back. And so this one, you're going to put your hands down like you're putting your hands in a salad bowl, the largest one you've ever had. Okay. And your hands are flat down on the bottom. So you're going to move your hands along the salad bowl on the bottom, keeping your palms and fingers if you can. That's a little hard, but that's good for the wrists and fingers, arthritis and all that. And then we come over to the other side. Okay, all along that bowl. Good. Now this time, we're going to come over here. I'm going to be a mirror image for you. So we're going to come over to the right. I'm going to weight shift more and more body weight onto my right leg, peel up my left heel possibly. If that doesn't feel good, I can bring the foot back down, but just bring some more body weight onto that right foot. Good. And then weight shift again over to the other side. Now I'm shifting the weight over onto my left foot. As the hands come over to the left, maybe peeling up the right heel. Everybody looks good. That's great. And then we go a little bit further, possibly. Maybe we lift that left foot up a little bit. Balance difficulty there. Even the experts sometimes do. All right, back down. All right. Wow, the yoga people are still having trouble. I love it. Yeah. All right. So this time, if you can lift the foot up on that left side and bring it more over to the left a little bit, just a couple inches. Doesn't have to be very far. And then as you bring the hands back to center, stepping that left foot back in, let's come over to the left, maybe step out with your right foot a little bit, and then back in. And then let's say you were pretty good with balance or you've been coming a couple months, you might be able to float the foot up. And that requires a lot more muscle control and more muscle recruitment of the body. See, ground's always there if you need it. So I always have an excuse. All right. So that was side to side. You're feeling maybe the side muscles and they got warm. So strengthening all those muscles. And as you do repetition, that's called endurance. So we need endurance, right? We're going to participate longer in activities. And if you get fatigued, you're walking along. Why do you need these side muscles? Let's say you're walking along, there's a little divot in the ground and you step down in it. Well, that's going to be these lateral stabilizer muscles that catch you. And if they're fatigued, they're not going to do very good. So, but if you build the stamina in those muscles, they're going to be better able to do that. And so you'll be able to upright yourself again. All right. So how are we doing on time?
About 15.
15 minutes. Wow, that's great. Awesome. Okay. So let's go a little bit further. All right. So confidence building. This is really important. So this gets back to strength. So some of you look like you need to sit. But if you were to stand longer, that would be good too. So I like sometimes have my way to guilt people. No, I'm just saying. But as you stand longer, the muscles work longer and, you know, it builds this weight bearing, and you probably heard about bone density and things like that, how important that is. So we have other kinds of conditions like osteoporosis. They're working on all that too as well. Back to Parkinson's though, confidence building is really important. Some of us have a fear. So it gets back to what you're talking about with sports or some of the stuff that Krissy was showing. Yeah. So am I going to participate in all that? I don't know. Yeah. But as you build the strength, lots of times it's a strength issue and a posture issue. So if we can work on our posture, build our strength, confidence will get better. And let me ask you a question. You ever notice that a lot of times tremors happen when we're not confident, when you're stressed, with Parkinson's? You notice that? Ask yourself, when do the tremors and the rigidity sometimes happen? A lot of times they have a lot to do with that. So they kind of go together. So we're talking about exercise here. Exercise builds strength, stamina, and things like that. It's just correlated with confidence. It's going to build. And so less chances of tremors. Okay. And when we erect our posture, the muscles aren't so tense. So the rigidity of your body reduces. And that's huge. So then therefore we could actually, and this is proven, less medications. Ding, ding, ding. We all like that, right? Less medications, higher functioning. That's huge. So all that goes together, less fall risk. Okay. On and on and on. More functional independence. You can do more on our own, walk further, go further. Okay. So if I was asked also to talk a little bit about yoga, we have an adaptive yoga class also in Port Orange at the YMCA. So let's say you wanted to do some similar activities to what we just did with this kind of movement. Okay, if we did some yoga, it would look something like this, and you could stand up for this if you want, or if you just watch. So we got this thing called a backward bend in yoga, and we could adapt that in many different ways. You bring our hands up overhead, and possibly we could bring our knee up or straighten it like that, something like this. All kinds of adaptations. And then you could even go a little further. Let's see how many of the skills are. I ran 2 miles this morning, so that's my excuse now. So here we go. That's pretty advanced, but we could break that down and have the foot on the floor. And this is called Warrior 3 pose. Warrior 3 pose in yoga. We could even go a little further, different ways of doing that. So we could break that down. Everything can be broken down. So that's the forward backward movement. We did a sideward movement. So this is a little side bend to the side we could do. Okay, and that works your side muscles quite well. We could bring our leg out to the side also as well. And hold usually is what we do, or we can do a flow, or we go a little faster. But I just really feel like the Tai Chi is more of a dynamic, mindful movement. You're placing your foot soft down, you're transitioning, but they're very similar, very similar. Good. So going a little bit further, another exercise that we do, I wanted to have a little variety of different things here for Tai Chi. So that's the kind of the slow motion movements. A little bit faster. So this looks a little funny, It's 5,000 years old. It's a shaking exercise, shaking. Okay. So
People
with
Parkinson's already do that.
I know, but it's going to break up the rigidity and the shaking. We'll see. Okay. So you can do this sitting, fine, or you can do the standing. I like standing. If you want to participate, again, you buy your chair, and anytime you can sit. Anytime you can sit. So we start out with a little bounce, like you're on a bumpy road. See, I'm bending and straightening my legs. Yeah, bending and straightening legs, and feel that the shoulders are bouncing up and down. Some of you have some rigidity up here, tension, pain in your shoulders. And when you bounce like this, it also creates a bounce, if you allow it, this concept in Tai Chi called letting go. Let the shoulders bounce up and down. Sometimes we have to tell the mind to do that because we're unconsciously holding tension there. Okay, so there's a little bounce. Can you feel this in your arms too? It's like a bending and straightening in your arms. There's a bounce to your arms. When you bend your knees, usually your arms go straight. And this is exercise too. This is getting your heart rate up. Maybe not quite yet, but I guarantee in a couple seconds, we're gonna pick this up a little bit. Okay, so we bend and straighten the legs a little bit more. Good. And feel a little bit bigger bounce in your shoulders. So this is getting your heart rate going. Your breathing, cardiovascular, everything. Okay, let's just start with a single arm bounce. So it's goofy. This is 5,000 years old from China. And I went over to China with my Tai Chi teachers, and we went out in the parks. 100 million people every day do these Tai Chi and Qigong exercises. Yeah, some of it looks kind of funny. Yeah, okay. But this is exercise. So bring your arm up, maybe a little bit higher, range of motion. Yeah, you can wave. Good. All right. And whatever you can do. So maybe the movement's smaller. That's okay. Adapt it. Maybe you got pain if you bring it up too high. But just bring it up. Building stamina. You feeling tired yet? How long can you hold your arm up here? Good. All right. Bring your arm out in front of you. Now it's like you're hitting an elastic wall straight out in front of you. Okay. Bring that arm down. Keep the bounce in your legs. Let's do the same thing to the other side. You're feeling a little more alive, a little bit more weight. Did I wake you up? Anybody falling asleep yet? Okay. You ever heard of lymphatic drainage? Heard of lymphatic drainage? The lymphatic system in your body? This is bouncing. Have you ever heard of bouncing on a trampoline? They call it rebounding. This is lymphatic drainage too. Your arms moving up and down. Here's the lymph nodes in your armpit, and you're creating a lymphatic flow in your body. And in the groin is creating a lymphatic flow just with this bouncing motion. Okay, so that other arm, bring it up overhead.
Starting to feel some moisture.
And so these different movements use different muscles. Good, and then bring it back down in front of you. Smile, we're having a great time, right? Or we're acting goofy. Good thing no one else is here. All right, bring the arm back down. All right, now this is round one. Done. Slow it down a little bit. A little recovery here. Okay, keep the balance in your legs. Okay, round two. That means more, right? That means higher intensity, possibly. Or you can back it down if you're feeling like it's getting to be too much. Just back it down. Okay, double hand. Okay, you ever shake a paint can? You remember that? Remember that in those days? Now what do they got? They got the paint can shaker at Lowe's and Home Depot, right?
Yeah.
That's what we do. We bring it there. Right, but back not too long ago, my dad made me shake a paint can again. And he told me a long time ago, I got smarter after a while. He said, you got to do that for at least an hour. You can't just do it like this much, right? You got to do a little bit more. Now, some of you are starting to move a whole lot better, I'm noticing. With the shaking exercise, so it's breaking up some of the rigidity. And the involuntary muscles and the voluntary muscles starting to get a little more control. Good. So you got this paint can in your hand. You got to hold it tighter. Hold it a little tighter. And you got to shake it maybe a little stronger. So this is getting your heart rate up even a little bit more, maybe. Okay, now if you need to, take a break or slow it down. But some of you can shake a little bit more unless there's pain. Good. Feeling a good shake. Yeah. And then back it down, back it down. Paint can shaker intensity dial, bringing that down to about a 2. All right, round 2. Get the point?
Yeah.
Now stop. Notice how you feel. Notice how you feel. Yeah, you feel warm too. Your breathing's changed. Lymphatic flow greatly increased in the body. And stamina building a lot. So very good for many different things. Okay, so last exercise, maybe we'll do one more after, but I want to give a good demonstration of what Tai Chi is. This is called brocade exercise. Brocade exercises are about a couple hundred years old from China. And so these are vitality exercises. So a lot of what they were doing were vitality practices to build the health. So they have no national health care in China. Did you know that? Largest population of people, this is their health care every day. These kinds of exercise, some of them will look ridiculous, but you get the idea of what they're doing. Okay, no equipment, minimalistic, isn't that? That's what I like. I don't like to have all these equipment everywhere. And then we had COVID. We had to do it at home anyways, So this is something you can do. I like to stay on a commercial break. All right, so here's another exercise. We're going to start with your left hand on top. I'll be a mirror image for you. Right hand on the bottom. You bring your hands up to about chest height here. And so you're going to keep the left hand on top and the right hand, you're going to turn it down like this. This is called separating heaven and earth. Okay. So in other words, you're going to push up and you're going to push down. Push up on the heavens, down on the earth. Okay. Now relax, relax. Suddenly, think about lifting a heavy object with your hand. You have to lift that up or it's going to fall down. And then the other hand, there's a rock down below your hand. You're going to push down. Good. Isometrics, this is called, right? Some of you have been in physical therapy, occupational therapy. You start out with isometric exercises. So this is your chest and your back muscles, shoulder muscles working here. Getting tired yet? He's talking too much. Yeah, you're getting tired. That's good. Building. All right. So now you're able to use a little more strength and you're suddenly able to lift that rock up. So this left hand, I like to turn the fingers around to the back as I'm lifting and at the same time pushing down with the bottom hand. So feel like there's some effort going on here. Suddenly relax, soften. Good. And look up if you can at the top hand. And this is also Tai Chi is a moving meditation. Yoga also, moving meditation. So I'm looking up at my top left hand. Look at the fingernails. Look at the features on your hand. And this is called a descending cloud. Your hand is a cloud, and you're just going to watch that hand drift all the way down to your left hip, all the way down. Try not to lose focus on that. That's building your attention, right? So that's something we all need. We got ADD, many Americans. We're just have all this look, phone, multitasking. This is making less of that, more focus. That's really big for fall risk. We can reduce all that, focus better, we can function better. Good, now your right hand's on top and your left hand's on bottom, okay? And again, we're gonna bring our hands up to the chest. Turn your left hand down this time, same exercise. You're relaxing here though. Relax your shoulders down. So we need to be able to let go, relax. So that's like this. We want to be able to have that control, of being able to do that. And at least let go of some of the rigidity, some of the tension. Okay. That's a big thing that triggers these tremors and rigidity in your body. Okay. Now, suddenly we tense and we think of lifting this heavy rock that's in our hand up above and pushing down on the rock down below. And you're going to lift it up and push down simultaneously. You're turning this right hand back toward the back, lifting, 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 lifting. And suddenly at the top, relax, let go. Okay. Look up at the top hand. Look at the fingernails. Look at the little features on your hand. Focus on that and watch that hand. This is a meditation as the hand moves down like a cloud, back, down underneath. Relax, soften. So that was an example of a brocade exercise. There's 8 different brocades, and you would do that multiple times. So I'm pretty sure after the 8th or 10th time that you did that, you would feel like you've done something. However, we adapted still. You can sit at any point. We don't always do 8. We do sometimes maybe 2 to each side, but we build. And as you get more ability, you'll be able to do a little bit more. Okay, so that was about all I had. Was there any questions?
I have a question.
I figured you did.
Qigong, what is that?
Okay,
I think of these metal balls for some reason.
it's part of it. That's 5,000 years old. And all these things that are medicine, that are longevity exercises are all part of Qigong. So 5,000 years old. So Tai Chi is a part of Qigong. Kung Fu, that's a martial art. It's also a longevity practice. It's part of Qigong. Acupressure, acupuncture, that's part of their medicine, all part of Qigong. And have you heard of Feng Shui?
Mhm.
Feng Shui, that's how you set up a room so that we can all get out of here when there's a fire, things like that. That's an example. So Feng Shui is all part of this thing called Qigong. And that's about 1950, they came up with that word for it, but it was named something else. It's not important, but basically it's all part of their concept. This is what they do. Again, 100 million people every day in their parks. You see them doing slow motion movements. This is Tai Chi and Qigong. So any other questions?
What about the metal balls?
Metal balls are a little different. Those are longevity practices, and they're usually filled with some kind of metal, usually copper or brass. And there's polarities in the body, energy in the body. And so usually there are different polarities. And when you move them around, they're really good for circulation in our hand and reducing stress and things like that. And by the way, when you came in, kind of measure how much stress you had then compared to now. Notice anybody? Do you feel more relaxed?
Mhm.
Yeah. So I know a lot of people running around on Ativan and all this stuff, taking popping pills, and it's terrible here in America, but getting yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong, meditation, prayer, all these different things, these are very calming to the body without medication, and they get better as you keep doing them. So with practice. And so Krissy and I have a class, like I said, over at Daytona, and everybody's more than welcome. It's Mondays at 3 o'clock. And it's a fun group. Everybody knows each other. You'll be the new person on the block. They'll come and they'll want to talk to you a little bit, eventually. And then you'll want to know about other things because they'll talk to you about them. I see all these pictures and I want to participate in bowling because I like bowling and everything like that. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I love to see you at the yoga class also. And that's in Port Orange. And that's what time is it?
Thursday, 1:30.
Thursdays at 1:30. Yeah. And anybody else have any other questions?
Do you have any evening classes?
Yeah.
Yes, for working people.
We do. We have game night is Tuesdays from 6 to 7. And then Fridays are my bowling and billiards. Bowling is 5:30 to 7:30 at the Ormond Lanes.
And well, it's not full right now, but when it resumes, it will be 4:30 to 6:30 at Uncle Wally's. I put schedules on the back table too.
Just so everybody knows as well, the Brooks Wellness Program, as well as the Adaptive Sports Program calendar, I believe right now, I know the Adaptive Sports is on our website into our resource link. So if you don't want to check things out, just like what Ed's saying and Krissy's saying, yoga for free, the YMCA.
Yeah.
What more could we ask for?
Yeah.
And it's adaptive, so no one's pressuring anybody to do anything that makes them uncomfortable or unsafe.
Yeah.
So.
And I have massage tables too, so if you cannot get onto the ground, I do have massage tables that we can.
So
get
Ed will
you
give you a
onto.
massage.
All right. May you have happiness, harmony, and good health. And hope to see you at the classes and the events. All right.
Round of
Thank you.
applause for our guest. Excellent. Thank you so much.